Devil wanna rule the earth. Wicked evil sticking needles in it all, the voodoo curse. They pray at Judas Church of fallen angels. Lucifer remove the worst fragments of shrapnel from bullet wounds that hurt. Doing dirt is useful work. Shoot them first. Humans thirst for bloodshed and fatal appraisal. How much your jewelry worth? This ain't for everyone. Computer nerds can't find it on a Google search. Music merch, limited exclusive shirts. Crystal sharp with this high definition pixel art. Sinful dark elements projected as the pistol spark. Across the land masses, lavish funerals, Versace brand caskets, handcrafted by the grandmasters. A chosen few professional mechanics that can hold a tool. What's up with you? Long awaited punishment is overdue. Game of Thrones Night King, savage strike team of black berserker Vikings. The battle axes might swing. On the altar, make the sacrifices, slay the bull. Beef exposes these foes in sheep's clothes, save the wool, paid in full. No, it's not debatable. Raised by wolves, your cranial region is bleeding after they aim and pull. On the altar, make the sacrifices, slay the bull. Beef exposes these foes in sheep's clothes, save the wool, paid in full. No, it's not debatable. Raised by wolves, your cranial region is bleeding after they aim and pull.
Bigger they are, harder they fall. Above the law, Steven Seagal, Venom the protocol. Left-handed the laws of war, Jehovah, Kingdom Hall. Top rank overall, acid rain installed. Trophy room, your head on the wall. Brand Nubian, Lord Jamal, burn like black tar. Elmira, war in the mess hall. Cracked skulls with a glass peanut butter jar. Big B's, roll call. Solomon Child Supreme, better than all. Always ready to brawl. I'm light years ahead, I'm too far. Emperor resolve, overhaul, overall. The enemy a crawl. So about your head around like a volleyball. Body, definition, chisel. You a butterball, so understand it and don't confuse it. This is medicine music. This is medicine music.
On the altar, make the sacrifices, slay the bull. Beef exposes these foes in sheep's clothes, save the wool, paid in full. No, it's not debatable. Raised by wolves, your cranial region is bleeding after they aim and pull. On the altar, make the sacrifices, slay the bull. Beef exposes these foes in sheep's clothes, save the wool, paid in full. No, it's not debatable. Raised by wolves, your cranial region is bleeding after they aim and pull.
I be the son of Allah. My mind is unbegotten, no birth record to the raw methods. You ain't stopping. Surprising with cyanide up in they drinking fountain. Sip from the cup of death while my rhymes move a mountain. My razor cut mad close to skin opponents. I step on fertile ground. There's the maker and the owner. Never Daytona. On the way getting blunted. Dan Ryan. Shots fired. It's the 500. I'm still buzzing off of weed in the fifth of Landy. You're gonna need more than a shrink to understand me. Knowledge the wise, I scared when I say peace. See me in the back streets with Indians and mad chiefs. Make a murder scene reek with the gun smoke. Send to me a burn with doing business, I cutthroat. So once more, I move merchandise across the floor, Jerusalem, taken from the devil during holy war.
Good evening and welcome to the number one radio station for Wolverhampton, WCR-FM. And if you've just joined, you are listening to the second and final hour of this week's The Real Recognise Real show. My name is Alex Scott, and you just heard music from a top-tier recording artist that just performed a track called The Altar, which features Woo affiliate Solomon Childs and A Preem. This artist is based in Indiana with a super solid catalogue that spans over 2 decades. He's been called a prophet by the legendary Wu-Tang Clan affiliate Killer Priest. In addition, the backslang lyricist Scoob of Daz Effects has also stated that this artist in particular is nice with the pen. This prolific rare gem of an artist has worked with underground legends such as Christ Bearer of North Star, Thurston Howell III, Def Jux, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, Kinetic 9 of Killer Army, Black Sheep, check this out, Cannabis as well, and an artist that I interviewed a couple weeks back, Doodlebug of the Grammy Award winning group called Diggable Planets, and more. Without any further ado, it is one of my greatest pleasures to introduce to the show tonight the deep, spiritual, tight, nice lyricist from Indiana that goes by the name of MRKBH. All good things are worth waiting for.
Capitol Hill's falling, too much sleight of hand and illusion. I feel like Phil Collins in the land of confusion. The rich are still balling, but the planet's in ruins. You disagree and kill all of them. The cannons are booming. Police state. Code of silence for the global crisis. Cold and lifeless bodies in piles. Coronavirus. No experts on social network. It's only bias. Uneducated, don't know the science. The outbreak, it breaks out the lab and it's viral. Americans are worshiping a magical idol. The Statue of Liberty, a flag and a Bible. With the plantation profit money bag and a rifle. Poor boys and girls around the world are making more noise with war toys. And knee upon the neck of George Floyd. Democrat, Republican, the blue pill, the red pill. For red, white, and blue banners, you will be dead killed. Protest and riot, politics and the virus. Fools die for one of wisdom from the lips of the righteous. Protest and riot, politics and the virus. Fools die for one of wisdom from the lips of the righteous. A bloody moon eclipse, unholy Eucharist, no crucifix. We're dying underneath the rulership of foolishness. Lost empires, forgotten kingdoms, a strong desire to kill indigenous natives and set a cross on fire. Speaking with the forked tongue, that's who you call a liar. They say it's wrong to topple statues of the colonizers. We fall from higher levels, rejected, exhausted, tired. Captured in the World Wide Web by crawling spiders. To pimp a butterfly and entangle a caterpillar. They rule the nation with the apron of a master builder. We bring it down the house like Samson when he shattered pillars. Low budget struggle, cold-blooded wrath of killers. Failing economy, the government and president. Fulfilling prophecy is published in the testaments. No apologies, the judgment of the heaven sent. Charged with idolatry, the punishment is pestilence. Protest and riot, politics and the virus. Fools die for one of wisdom from the lips of the righteous. Protest and riot, politics and the virus. Fools die for one of wisdom from the lips of the righteous.
We're struggling to get him. He's trying and trying and trying and trying and trying.
It's like African wildlife, and my quotes are the antidote to reptile bites. When I decapitate the cranium of cold-blooded snakes, it leaves the poison animal eaters with stomach aches. Do the math. Lion claws on elephants and giraffes. You see the writing on the wall like it's the element of grab. Endangered species that write our names in graffiti. Bloodthirsty predators and entertainment are greedy. Stray pit bulls with solid gold canine teeth, and starving artists food is swallowed whole when they find beef. Carnivores at war, not raised in captivity. Class envy gives us the urge to clap enemies. Watch us with binoculars in concrete jungles. You need a bird's eye view to see beyond these struggles. Some will always try to hate on the art, but my craftsmanship is qualified and straight from the heart. Because
I got so much love. Cause I got so much love.
Alert, channel my berserk. You know the motto, beef ain't dead till it's in the dirt. Solomon Childs, leader to this federation. Smile moderation, born in evolution. The definition is superior, massive stereo, high grade portfolio. Pit bulls surround my bungalow. New York native, authentic, like a game of domino. Lyrical gunfire, the calico, strategic. Guerrilla warfare, dynamo. Military street forces, they overflow. We the rebels and the bandits. Napalm like the PR terrorists. Loaded Prince.
Love for my people, cause the beast is nothing but evil. Guerrilla warfare will spill the blood of the eagle. Bite the hand that feeds you cause the devil deceived you. Wolf in sheep's clothing, that injection is lethal. Lab rats and guinea pigs die for the cause, while addicts smoke sausages to get high on the hog. It's a dog-eat-dog world, the wilderness of North America, raised in savage ways that's killing morals and character. Now we tamed and trained for the circus, jumping through flames, entertaining the main purpose. Why the lion fear the crack of the whip? If only we knew the real impact of our strength. But we
Merkaba, you in? Merkaba, you in?
Yeah.
You locked in?
I'm here.
Having
All
some
right.
trouble.
Yeah, technical difficulties, they happen. It's all good.
It happens.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Real Recognize Real show.
I greatly appreciate it, bro. I got to hear the intro, and I'm very impressed, man. I'm humbled by that.
Now,
I
no
appreciate
worries,
it
man.
greatly.
No worries. Merkaba, you're having an amazing career in the underground genre of hip-hop. Before we talk about your lyrical journey, you're from Indiana representing.
Yeah.
We would most definitely like to know what life was like for you growing up in your family home, your school years, and how you overcome the many temptations you may have faced on the streets to try and lead you down the wrong path.
Well, I can't say that I grew up in with my mother and father, so I had a, two-parent home. So I had the influence of both, both sides of the fence on that. And there were a lot of temptations growing up because I'm in a Midwestern, grew up in a poor community, So crime and drugs is always a temptation, but due to my parents raising me correctly and instilling lessons in me, I managed to avoid some of those traps that some of my peers may have fell victim to.
I understand.
It's a basketball. I mean, it's big out here in Indiana. We're in the Midwest, the United States. It's basketball is real popular out here, And in the Midwest, it's a little different. It's not so much, the coastal regions, the East Coast, the West Coast are more fast-paced. And some of the largest cities in the Midwest is fast-paced, like Chicago and Indy. But where I'm from, it's a town on the outskirts of a larger city. So it's like it moves a little bit slower, and it's it's easier to observe the surroundings, meaning everything that's going on around you.
Yes. So you're a nice hooper. You can throw, you can swoosh.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's been a little while, but yeah, I can do my thing,
Okay, you'll embarrass me because I'm rubbish for things like that. I cannot shoot for any kind of money at all. I'd just lose everything. Now,
yeah, we grew up with it, man. Basketball.
Merkaba, we just played a couple tracks before. I was trying to get you get you connected. You got a track called Fool Killer, which is an amazing song title, which explains the illusions or, the in-your-face camouflage from the systems that have been put in place to keep us quiet or to be led in a negative direction. And for me, I feel you were very detailed in your lyrical delivery, Merkaba. What made you decide to approach hip-hop with this lyrical format and style?
Well, I'll tell you, ever since you just pointed out with the intro about my 2 decades and of being an underground independent recording artist, and since the beginning, I was influenced by more conscious, as they used to say, conscious hip hop and militant hip hop that had more of an intelligent edge to it. So therefore, as I was saying, the current climate with politics over here, there's what's called, they've dubbed it a culture war over here between the haves and the have-nots, I should say. Mm-hmm. And of course, due to my upbringing, I do lean towards the side of the have-nots. And I'm no stranger to police brutality. I've been attacked by police on a couple of occasions. So, I had to, participate in the conversation.
Right. I've been attacked as well before. Not a nice experience. I don't really talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it tonight, but maybe on the second visit, when you come back another time on the second journey, we could probably discuss that and how we've been able to move on and how we see the police on our journey. Now, with what I was going to say, with your exceptional knowledge in regards to keeping up to date with politics and what is going on in the world, do you foresee any negatives or positives in the direction of hip-hop music, or do you think it will be the same old in regards to whack, catchy sing-along tracks being placed into the charts?
Well, I think it's all a matter of perspective. There's a time and place for everything. And, you know, in the past, one thing that people say about hip-hop, excuse me, sir. In the past, one thing that people say about hip-hop was that there was much more variety, you know, that you could listen to Ice Cube if you wanted to, or a Tribe Called Quest, or there was a variety, there was a gamut, a spectrum of music you could listen to. And I think that there are still artists like me. There are plenty out there like me, but you just have to dig a little deeper. It's just like, you know how in hip-hop, the producers, there's a branch of producers called the crate diggers, where they go to record stores and look for samples. Well, now it's like hip-hop is like that. In order to find the quality hip-hop that suits your taste, you have to dig for it and do a little bit of work. The stuff that's easiest for you to capture or to receive is always going to be the stuff that's maybe not the best for you. That goes for food as well as music.
Yes. I understand.
Yeah.
Now, this question is a bit of a big question. It's a bit detailed, but I'm going to go in. This is the one I've been looking forward to because, like I said, you are a very articulate songwriter and you don't, sugarcoat anything when it comes to your songwriting. You get stuck in and you find incredible words to match more than the average person who will be like rat, cat, sat kind of rapper. You go in, right. You know. So the death of George Floyd was a situation that shocked the world in the most horrific way. A circumstance that we can only wish could have been avoided. However, I was in a discussion recently where I've tried to see it from the officer named Derek Chauvin's point of view. I'm not excusing Derek's behaviour at all, but maybe, just maybe, he's been a victim somehow by being shown a set of circumstances of no fault of his own, which has been fueled into his mind and heart to lead him up to that situation that horribly occurred during our time. Sometimes people are fed the wrong information and it shapes others to act unaccordingly. Now, Merkaba, as a spiritual person that you are, as hard as the death of George Floyd was to watch, do you have a view on both George and Derek?
Well, I have a view, but it's not very forgiving towards Derek Chauvin or what he represents. I would just say that in terms of America, our pockets of people that we have, it's way deeper than black and white. But if you want to look at it from that perspective, I think that isolation causes racism and hatred to fester, because I'll say it this way: in small Midwestern towns, there are more white people than there are black people, usually, you know. And in larger cities, there's a mixture. So in large metropolitan areas, you're kind of forced to be around people that are not like you. So you learn to deal with them, and you learn to, at the very least, tolerate them. That's a pretty sad word, but at the very least, to tolerate others that are not like you, even if you have a certain feeling or feel some kind of way. But in certain instances in America, there are small Midwestern towns where there are a lot of white people that never really see black people very often, or any kind of different people. So when they encounter them, all they have to go by are negative images that are being, propagated by the media. So that's not to give them a get out of jail free card or give them a pass on having racist or hateful views. But you got to look at the grand scheme of things, you know. And I think that intolerance, it breeds and it festers in isolation. You have to go out to the world and experience cultures. Quit being so scared and sheltered, and experience cultures other than your own. You know, so that way you won't. You shouldn't be a police officer if you don't like Mexicans, or you don't like blacks, or you're scared of this kind of group, or you think this kind of group is generally bad. You shouldn't be a servant of the community, because that's what police are. They're servants of the community. You know, yes. and they all act more like an occupying military force a lot of times. And I think that there's a cultural difference between the citizen and the police officer.
you see, when that situation happened, I don't know how you look at life, but some people look at life as though, what did George Floyd do for that to happen to him? 2, why were those 2 people in particular chosen to be in that kind of situation for us to see in this life? Why did he have to lose his life? And why has one person got to go to jail? Why is so many things happening in America? Why did it take that event to happen to highlight how bad it really is in the United States? And, well, in all over the world, but that situation brought everything to how bad sometimes the police system can really be towards people of colour. Why do you think, it took that time now during lockdown? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that brutality and the murder of unarmed blacks has been going on for a long time. Ever since the civil rights days. If you look at the Black Panthers, like when the agents busted into Fred Hampton's house and killed him. That's shown in the movie Judas and the Messiah. So the brutality's been happening. I think what really got under people's skin and got people motivated is the fact, like you said, there was lockdown going on, so everybody was about to pop anyway. And it's like you're watching it live on the TV screen, somebody that looks like you or your cousin or your uncle or a friend of yours being murdered live on TV, and that's happened several times. And, it reaches a boiling point in the community where it's like, you can use all the justifications you want to, whether it's, he was on drugs or what kind of person he was. That really doesn't have any bearing on that event. And he didn't deserve to die in a agonizing manner like that, or die at all for counterfeit money, which they found out wasn't counterfeit anyway. So, how I look at it is that these problems have been around. Now they're just on a screen that we all look at every day. So it makes us more emotionally reactive to it.
Mm. You definitely come across as a man that has his mind, body and soul aligned in a correct way. How do you manage to keep so grounded and focused within your life and craft?
It is definitely not easy. I think the greatest battle that you fight in your life will be a battle against yourself. And that means motivation versus unmotivation, or being not motivated, versus being motivated, being creative versus being lazy, or being, a hard worker versus being lazy, making sure you use your creativity to the utmost degree, being kind and having patience, being understanding, listening to the viewpoints of others. I mean, all these things go into being an adult and maturing as a person. And it takes some learning and it takes some humility to come to this point, and I'm still a work in progress, and I wouldn't by any means say that I'm I may be an example to others, but I am still a work in progress, I would say.
Yes, sir. When you developed as a hip-hop songwriter and you finally figured out how to write structured lyrics to instrumentals, how would you personally describe your purpose, and what are you lyrically here on earth to do or achieve?
Well, that's a great question. And I will say that early on, I think I was more, this ties right into the meaning of my album, right? I have an album I just released February 19th called The Messiah Complex. And the concept of the album has to do with basically when you come into the game and you have a conscious mind state, you want to change the world. You want to save the world. But the Messiah Complex album is looking at that viewpoint as like a complex, as like a mental condition, because after a certain point you realize you can only do your best to save yourself and your loved ones around you and hope that it filters out to everyone else. But some people just aren't ready to receive the message. And if you try to entertain or engage in a message to people that are ignorant on purpose, it's going to fall upon deaf ears. So you have to choose your basically don't cast pearls to swine, and choose your students wisely in the book of life, you know.
Yes.
And I think as far as early on, I was, you know, I wanted to be a savior of hip hop, or at least, you know, make an impact as a leader of the hip hop community. And I was an activist for a few years. I still have an activist mind state, but I was an active, you know, on the streets activist, you know, raising money for, you know, poor people, coat drives, shoe drives. You know, I was part of an organization that did this, and that tied into who I was as an MC. But as far as the lyrical side of it, I just wanted to make the dopest lyrics I could come up with, the illest sounding verses I could make, and also for them to have content, not just sound good, but also to have some meat to them.
Yes. Now, before we play a track of yours, which is called I Can't Save You, I've already played The Altar, a track called Fool Killer, and we touched a little bit on a track called The Heart. My question to you is this. Merkaba, what do you love the most about hip-hop music, and who would you most like to work with?
I would say what I love the most about hip-hop music is the culture from which it comes. You know, once somebody told me, you know, what should I read if I want to know about hip-hop? And I said the autobiography of Malcolm X, and they didn't make that connection. And I was like, that book talks about the climate that gave birth to hip-hop. You know, Malcolm X was friends with Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, what did he used to do before the matches? He used to rap. He used to rhyme when he spoke. You know, it's the rapper that I would like to, that I would love to do a song with of all, that's a really, really tough question. I can say Cool G Rap,
Cool G
Rakim,
nice.
You know, Cool G Rap, Rakim, one of them. Cool G Rap is my vote as the greatest of all time, and he's not per se a conscious rapper, but I'm inspired by his ability to put words together, and he got better over time. He's still gotten better to this day. He's still sharp. So that's my vote as far as a technical lyricist. Cool G Rap, I think, is an iconic figure. Tragedy Gaddafi is another one, you know. Mm-hmm. Those people have lasted the test of time, and they're still sharp, you know. So and I hope I answered your question. Yeah, did I miss anything?
No, because I've got a bit of a cheeky question. I hope you don't mind me delving into a cheeky question, because you mentioned Cool G Rap, who I do agree with you is developed over time, and you have different levels of what I say, people writing similes, and I would say, you know, Talib Kweli is really nice when it comes to structuring detailed graphical verses, like yourself, Royce the 5'9", and Eminem. My question is this about Royce the 5'9" and Eminem, because I feel that they lift each other because they're in the same camp. But
right,
would you say on occasion Eminem spits gibberish? Or is his connecting with words really deeper? Am I missing something?
I'll put it to you this way. Okay. I think that on the raw basis, the raw basics of what an MC is, he's at the pinnacle as far as wordplay. But for those of us that seek a deeper content, it might be shallow water when dealing with him. Other than the fact when he does songs like Stan, where he's talking about topics that affected him, like his Cleaning Out My Closet, where he talks about his mother. Those are deep tracks, and those are some of his best music, I think, are the deeper ones that have subject matter. But, you know, there is a part of hip-hop, you know, that has that, you know, it's the element of freestyle. You know, it's just like going off the top of the head, and that's that same type of energy where it's just, I'm going to come up with the illest rhyming words and wordplay, and it's going to sound crazy and take you on a roller coaster. But, you know, there's a place for both of those types of MCs, the ones that are politically conscious and the ones that are super duper technically dope. But I think the best ones fall somewhere in the middle.
Right. That was a nice answer, and that explains everything. Now, The Messiah Complex is an album you've released, and I Can't Save You is the next track I'm going to play for the listener. Keep listening. Merkaba and I will be right back.
you still there? Will you listen to a selfish and unfaithful son? I fought you when you called. I resisted. I thought I'd know more. I didn't want to be your son. Can you forgive me? I didn't fight hard enough. Father, give me your hand. I want to bring salvation. Father, take me back. Make a feast. Welcome me home. I want to be your son. I want to pay the price. I want to be crucified and rise again. I want to be the Messiah.
Thinking I was just another lamb for the sacrifice. They were thinking I was just another lamb for the sacrifice.
They were thinking I was just another lamb for the sacrifice. Son of man coming back to life. Triple stage darkness in the artistry, I'm casting light. Penetrating black as night. Belly of the beast at the feast with an appetite. Cross on the back of Christ, heavy is the crown on the head of the Jesus piece. Taking crown to the head on the evil streets. Heavy guaps, heavy drive, cooking that. Ready rock, Betty Croc, stove top, stuffing the machete chop. Betty Wop, trap queen, stripper with a sweaty wop. Betty Boop, spitting venom at him. Eddie Brock, Trump era, wicked politicians, everybody woke. Opioid addict with a habit for a shot of dope. Concrete shoes, bad news, and a lot of smoke. Bada bing, never let a body float. You all let the concubines and pretty dollar signs enslave you. I once thought that I could save the world, now I know I can't save you. You all let the concubines and pretty dollar signs enslave you. I once thought that I could save the world, now I know I can't save you. Not born of a virgin, but conception is immaculate. With the turban like the messenger of Nazareth, re-emerging like the resurrected Lazarus. Roman centurions are threatening and hazardous. Time ain't on your side, it keeps flying by. So-called friends don't wanna see you eye to eye. Are they really down? Do they wanna ride or die? Leave you high and dry. John 11:35, the Messiah cried. In the chapters and testaments of the Bible, why have you forsaken me is what he said, and I can try to be chosen like Moses on Mount Sinai. That's not my label or the essence of my energy. I make a table in the presence of my enemies. You pray to angels for the blessings of divinity. I ain't your savior, that's the message of my ministry. You all let concubines and pretty dollar signs enslave you. I once thought that I could save the world, now I know I can't save you. You all let the concubines and pretty dollar signs enslave you. I once thought that I could save the world, now I know I can't save you.
Welcome back to the Real Recognise Real show. My name is Alex Scott on the #1 radio station for Wolverhampton, and I'm currently interviewing the deep, spiritual, tight, nice lyricist from Indiana that goes by the name of MRKBH. MRKBH, the description in this song was very articulate and detailed. I feel like this song means a lot to you. This for me sounds like it's one of your babies. How did you arrive to writing this masterpiece?
First of all, I greatly appreciate the compliment, sir. Second of all, this is like the crown jewel of the album because it represents the concept of the album. The album's called the Messiah Complex, which is the MC, which is about rappers having a savior complex and about thinking that they can change the game. And sometimes you realize that you can just get in where you fit in and do your best and maintain. And this song is like a somber realization of the fact that I couldn't save the world. I could just do my best to put my 2 cents on the table and keep it moving. So it's kind of like a bittersweet moment on the album, and it's one of the last tracks. It's the next to last track, I believe.
Yes. What made you decide to put such, no pun intended, complex album together?
I like to have concept albums. Every album has to have a driving theme. I thought that the best albums when I was growing up always either had one producer, or if they had multiple producers, they had a driving theme, and the songs flow together. To me, an album is not just a collection of songs. To me, an album from song to song, it has to tell a story. It might not be a story that you pick up on at first, but and it might not be right in your face, but eventually, over time, you might get the theme of the album, which is a slice of the artist's life. And I think that this represents an aspect of me coming to a realization and maturing as a person.
Yes. Now, for those that are listening, the listener, they can't see that I can see you on my phone, but I've noticed in the background you have a very, very sizable bookshelf.
Yes.
What kind of books are you reading, Black Man?
I will tell you, I have a variety of books, everything from Zechariah Sitchin to Elijah Muhammad to Dr. Francis Cress Welsing to the Quran, the Holy Bible, the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian book of Going Forth by Day, to a set of encyclopedias, to the Gospel of Hip Hop by KRS-One, The Art of War, let's see, Hagakure, The Way of the Samurai, The Secret History of the World. I have books on masonry. Let's see. And I also have a couple legal guides and you know, some books on recording, Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. I mean, I have a wide variety of topics and subjects that I've grazed across in my lifetime.
Yeah, and you look like you keep your books in immaculate condition.
Oh, I try, definitely.
Yeah, I respect that, man.
I try to keep the collection clean, and I'm real particular about how people handle my books if they read them.
Yes. Now, before we play another track called The Sun, I can only imagine how supportive and proud your family and friends must be of your music career. What is life like for them with you being well known in your area, and how do you manage to curve the leeches and jealous-minded individuals that maybe want to crash your art form and journey?
Well, you know what? Surprisingly, the support is the support that is there is great, but as far as the amount and the number of supporters is may not be as great as you think they might be. But I can say that through my travels in the industry, I've met some of the more venomous individuals, you know, and I know that it's a snake pit in certain instances, you know.
Yes.
There are people that stand in between you and your goal, and they have their hand out, and they get to decide a price for you to get up the next step to get to your goal. But the thing is that person that's usually standing in your way doesn't care about the culture or respect the culture. And I'm glad I didn't curse, because that's the point where I would in the conversation.
Yeah, you know,
but I caught myself.
Yeah, you hit the hammer on the nail where you said the person that usually stands in your way is always the person that doesn't care about the culture. There's so many of those people that live in the same city where I'm from, and it's kind of like you have to put on some shades and just, you know, keep it moving, kind of.
Right.
You know.
And I've noticed that a couple of times. You know, in my life, I rose up against people like that before and had a few conflicts with people just, you know, on the integrity aspect of it and honor. But, you know, they say there's no honor among thieves, you know. So, I mean, you know, that cliche applies.
Yes. What have you know what, I'm not going to ask that question yet. I'm going to save this question. But is there anything that you would like to say that you had in mind in saying that I've not asked? I don't want to, you know, we're almost approaching the end of the show. I don't want to, you know.
Oh, yeah. There's one thing I want to mention, sir, and that is I just released April 30th. I dropped a compilation. It's a 9-track compilation. It's called Scripts Volume 1. Just as the Messiah Complex album is entirely produced by me, so is the Scripts album, and I have a lot of guest features on there. There's 13 acts on there, and 10 of those are from my state of Indiana, and actually 6 of those 10 are from my hometown of Muncie, Indiana. So it's a labor of love, and it took me about a year to finally get it all compiled, reaching out to different artists. There's also an artist from Germany on there, and a friend of mine. Actually, the artist that's on this song that you're about to play, The Sun, he has a song on that compilation called Nightmares and Daydreams. That's Infinite Seven Mind from Miami by way of New Jersey.
Yes. Well, let's hear The Sun, and then we'll get back to you before you head out.
All right.
It's gone quick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Christianity usurped a tremendous amount of sun worship. Some of us are saying that this was a sun god turned into a Jewish man. This December 25th birthday was, in fact, the winter solstice. This is really, in fact, the birth of the god of light.
Hard-headed followers, intellectual dark web. This is the end of Grim Reapers, keeping the sharks fed. Sharp-edged saber-tooth things are proof that the art's dead. Hearts bled, the floors will be painted dark red. That's the battlefield psychology of war hawks. Eliminate the bandits stealing property like Boardwalk or Park Place. It's not Monopoly, they pour salt all in your game to blame you like it's obviously your fault. Nah, don't make apologies, no more talk. The industry is green acres, all I see is corn stalks. You want beef, wait, these carnivores will eat steak. Monumental contents, original, no remakes. Or digital false prophets and deep fakes with unproven theories, conspiracies of the deep state. These publishers are clearing houses, not a sweepstakes. We'll sweep you all away, start over with the clean slate. I'm a speeding bullet racing through the barrel of a gun to penetrate your chest, releasing all the air that's in your lungs. You in the crosshairs, this cross I bear like carrying a ton. Your weaponry is weak, you shooting arrows at the sun. I'm a speeding bullet racing through the barrel of a gun to penetrate your chest, releasing all the air that's in your lungs. You in the crosshairs, this cross I bear like carrying a ton. Your weaponry is weak, you shooting arrows at the sun.
You're shooting arrows at the sun, I'm like a fowl from the slums. On a straight and narrow path, we used to battle just for fun. I'm surrounded by a bunch of snakes that rattle with the tongue. Telling lies cause they wanna make us cattle when we're young. Should I run? Never ran, never will, never once. I'm the one, now it's time for us to show them how it's done. Let us rise and align with the stars in the skies, cause it's time that we shine and take back what is mine. The Messiah when I came, spitting fire in the flame. Now I'm on a higher plane, I'm acquiring my name. All these lies trying to frame, you see them lying through their teeth, always hiding underneath, cause they crying in their sheets. I'll be climbing in my peak when I'm riding through these streets. Hear the sirens from police, always fighting with this beast. Hear me rhyming to these beats like a lion when he eats, cause the hunger is like thunder and like lightning when he speaks.
I'm a speeding bullet racing through the barrel of a gun to penetrate your chest, releasing all the air that's in your lungs. You in the crosshairs, this cross I bear like carrying a ton. Your weaponry is weak, you shooting arrows at the sun. I'm a speeding bullet racing through the barrel of a gun to penetrate your chest, releasing all the air that's in your lungs. You in the crosshairs, this cross I bear like carrying a ton. Your weaponry is weak, you shooting arrows at the sun.
Wow. Welcome back to the Real Recognise Real show. My name is Alex Scott on the #1 radio station for Wolverhampton, and you and I have just approached the end of interviewing the deep, spiritual, tight, nice lyricist from Indiana that goes by the name of MRKBH. MRKBH, how can the fans and the listener reach you on social media and listen to your music?
Okay, I would say first and foremost, Dark Ages Music, spelled like it sounds, .bandcamp.com is where all my current releases are. That goes for the Messiah Complex and Scripts Volume 1, which are the two newest ones, that, along with a bunch of singles and some of my past releases under the name of Merk Verses with some other producers. And I would say also social media, it's kind of difficult. MRKBH _ El Shaddai. It's hard to spell. You'll find me online if you go to Dark Ages Music.bandcamp.com. That's where it's all at right there. Or Messiah-complex.com if you want to go directly to the Messiah Complex album.
Beautiful. Now, before you head out of here, is there anyone in your family and the streets you would like to give props to?
Definitely. I want to give a shout out to my children, my beautiful children. And I want to give a shout out to all of my comrades in the game of hip hop and in the culture of hip hop, which are Mercury Threshold, Infinite Seven Mind, my boy Lamont, you know, Zach, Nate, Dubmatic, Phenom. I mean, there's a lot to name. All of my people, Kiana, Metaforce Omega, you know, and my guy, Brel Brazen, definitely.
Brilliant.
One more thing I want to say. I've got a project. I just got word of this last night. Woo Syndicate, the Woo affiliates known as Woo Syndicate. I'm doing an EP with Maya Lansky from Woo Syndicate. So that's great to me because I grew up listening to them.
Amazing.
The early 2000s.
Yes, brother. Do you have a final message for the listener?
Final message is, just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to. Remember to always think before you act, because in the age of social media dissolves the filter between thought and expression a lot, and sometimes you need that couple seconds to gather yourself before you make a decision, and don't rush into things. Fools rush in.
Merkaba, thank you so much. You know, I know we didn't connect at the beginning, but this has been one of my favorite interviews. I can't wait to listen back. You know, you've said some beautiful stuff that I can't wait to listen to and just digest into my mind, and just hear another perspective from a good black man that's representing in the hip hop culture and just ensuring that we get good food for the mind, body and soul. Merkaba, look after yourself.
It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's been an honor and a pleasure, brother.
Thanks, my brother. It's always a pleasure to interview artists like Merkaba on the Real Recognize Real show. What an incredible artist and songwriter. Merkaba. Yeah, heck yeah!
Yeah.
Up next, you're getting a sneak peek of a Unix new tune called Lurk